When I joined Voena, it was not quite Voena yet. When I joined, it was the choir that Annabelle began. I think because she just knew she wanted to have a group available for kids to sing if they wanted to sing. I remember going, and I remember she had about 100 kids that just showed up, and they all auditioned, and as we went, she kind of just accepted all of us. So here we were, and that's what kind of began my journey with what later became Voena.
Volina was born officially in 1994, and we were just t-shirts, jeans, just getting together and singing. That's what we did.
I never saw rehearsal. I had never seen Volina, never heard Volina. I just came and showed up one day and joined.
In Volina, we have a no audition policy. That's unusual. Traditional professional choirs, they always have an audition policy, but I never wanted that. I wanted to offer music opportunities for kids where they don't have to audition, where they have desire, therefore they're in.
I started when I was about 8 years old, and I went all the way through to my senior year of high school. I started in the very beginner choir, so I was in somebody's house learning like the basics of singing, moved to intermediate, and my first performance with the actual concert choir, or whatever they were calling it, was at like the Benicia Library.
When we were so small, because we got to know each other really well, I think that's what started what Annabelle later called like the Volina family. Her sons were in the choir, her nieces and nephews were in the choir. She would pick us up in her big van and we would drive to concerts together. And we would do concerts in random places. We would be in airports, singing in the lobbies. We would be at Davies Hall, singing for Christmas time. It all kind of evolved from there, from doing a really big concert. And then it became lots of little concerts. Annabelle wanted to do new things, exciting things. She really wanted to give us more opportunities to perform together.
It expanded from there and kept growing gradually, naturally. We were doing maybe 20 kids at that point, and then 25 kids. And then around 1997, there was an invitation for me to have the kids come and sing as part of the North American Children's Chorale at Carnegie Hall. And starting at that point, it was the invitation to a place like Carnegie Hall that got me thinking, wow.
We were singing at a lot larger venues, and it was incredible because as a young kid, I didn't realize that anything was really changing,
It was probably the most important experience I had growing up, being in Volina. It was with me from basically as early as I can remember until now. The travel opportunities really changed everything about me.
I went to Japan and China and Italy and Greece and Washington, D.C. with the choir as it started to grow. We sang for Maya Angelou and the president.
Carnegie Hall was one of those things that I think as a 16-year-old, I knew it was a big deal, but I didn't know how big of a deal it was. One of my favorite memories from that is we were kind of the little underdog choir. We were probably the most diverse group. And when we were able to perform, we really felt it. We were like, we're gonna show them. We're gonna show them. This is how we sing. And a lot of the choirs were the very stiff, kind of only mouth moving choirs. Everybody was wearing, white shirts, black pants. And we come up with our bright jewel tone shirts and we start to sing. People were just blown away with not just our sound, but the harmonies that we sang, the energy that we brought, the movement that we had. In my 16-year-old mind, I feel like we brought the house down.
The people who were behind Voena, like Annabelle and all the people who were helping, I think a lot of the parents too were just really pushing to see how big it could get and how how much it could do for the kids and everything.
I always believe that a musician is not just someone who only sings, but someone who sings and plays instrumentally as well.
She wasn't just a teacher that told you what to sing. She would have little talent shows where we'd all be able to kind of bring a different flavor to what our own personal preferences were. So we would be able to play a song on piano, or play something that we wrote, or sing something different, or do a dance, all these different types of performance that Annabelle really appreciated. And I think that she really knew that creativity not only came from her, but that there's a wealth of creativity in all these children that she was teaching. She always allowed us to be creative and to do things that were different. And I think that started to form Voena in a way that was really different from other choirs. It wasn't just a director telling us what to do. It was a group of kids with a wonderful director that allowed us to shape new things.
Before I started Voena, the word choir for me was like stiff, black dress, and you just sing like church songs and stuff. You don't move around and you can't really express yourself in the way that you want to. And so Voena is like, it brings a whole new meaning to choir for me. Volina is different, which I like a lot, because I've seen choirs and they're not fun. They're not fun like they should be. Volina is.
When I first saw Volina, I was really impressed. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. It was like everyone was moving, and it was just the different languages and everything. It was just really, as a 10-year-old, I was just kind of like, whoa, like this is really cool. Like I wish I could do something like this.
I think actually my first thought when I saw the performance was, I could never do that. Yeah, when I saw it, there was something very like fantastical about it that touches you on kind of another level, just like with music, any great music. It was just very open, and like all I can really say is that it was filled with wonder.
Their self-consciousness, you know, when they first join, they're very self-conscious, most of them. They don't want to be seen, and then they love being seen because they're constantly getting reinforcement that what they do is good, that what they do is special, and that what they do is cared about and loved and cherished.
I was so shy before Voena. I wouldn't sing for my mother. Like, I was that shy. I was shy even to speak. Really, I had no self-confidence, which is one of the things that Voena has definitely helped me with. Like, being shy can be a personality trait, but I think at a time in someone's life, like, you have to learn to get over it. Because there's so much outside of being shy to do.
Confidence is something that you definitely have to strive for. It's not something that you can just have. It's something that I still don't really have confidence. It's kind of like a daily thing, you know. When I was 12, I was diagnosed with a skin condition called vitiligo, and it's an autoimmune disorder. And there's just little like white spots just around my skin and stuff, and I had them on my face. It was during a summer. I remember noticing it, and we went to the doctors, and it was like a 5-minute doctor appointment, and like he just told us that, you know, there was no cure for it. I felt really ashamed. I felt ugly. I felt like, you know, I just felt like a monster, because like that's what people told me. There's people calling me names like Michael Jackson and asking me if I had skin cancer. And Volina, I didn't have that experience with Volina. Everyone was really accepting, and no one really acted as if there was anything different with me. They just accepted it, and it was just, you know, nice.
I was diagnosed with epilepsy when I was 4 years old. Nobody really knew about it besides like my parents. I don't know, I grew up not telling anybody because I was self-conscious about it. I actually had my first seizure during a solo, and it was Ave Maria, and I was singing, and I had my seizure. So I'm singing, and then I stop but I'm swaying still. And so I'm sitting there and I'm like swaying like this. And then I come out of it and I'm like, spotlight's on me and I have a microphone and I'm like, whoa. And so I listen to the violin and the violin's at a part and then I come in right at the part where I was supposed to. Afterwards, I was like super embarrassed. I was like, oh my God, I had a seizure while I was performing in front of everybody. Nobody knows that I have it. Oh my gosh. And I was freaking out. I drove with Annabelle to the concert and my mom. And Annabelle's like, no, I want to talk to you about your seizure. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. And she's like, oh my God, what are you talking about? You did amazing. You did perfect. You did what you were supposed to when you had a seizure. And I was blown away. I was like, what? I was like, this has never happened before. And so it just made me feel a lot better. It's really cool to have an environment like that.
To watch them be embraced by all these family of singers and to feel that they have a safe place to be and that they won't be judged negatively at all. It's so positive in this group and so embracing, and no matter what the disability, this child gets loved and nurtured through music, but through way more than music. So I have a huge responsibility. I feel my responsibility is to always make them the best they can be. I never want them embarrassed. I want them to be so good that they always get those standing ovations, whether it's from their family right inside their own home or whether it's from the audiences that they perform for.
Voena has amazing opportunities for kids for performing, amazing learning experiences, being able to travel or go abroad, and making friends. And you can have all of that through music. That is so amazing. Annabelle is a genius, finding a way to combine all of these things through music. It's amazing.
I watched it evolve from that little group practicing in her house to, 2 different satellite groups and, people driving hours and hours to come and can join this wonderful choir. There's really nothing like it.
It's worth it. It's worth it. It's awesome. It's an awesome experience. I loved it so much. It's changed my life.
I'm doing what I love. And I really didn't think that the evolution would come this far. And when I started, I wanted something, an extended family for my own kids. But I didn't realize how much this would affect other kids and how it would keep growing and growing and get so huge. I never would have dreamed about that, and I'm so proud and so appreciative and excited and thrilled and overjoyed that I could be part of a movement, a true Voena movement, to make a difference to such a degree in kids' lives that I get to watch amazing things that they do, hear about amazing things that they do from their parents. That's powerful. It makes my life make a difference for me, makes my life worth it.